Yeah. Welcome to the Gunny Gumby Show. I can do it all, I will never fall. It's the Renaissance, you know that I got the mother sauce, man. You know I'm the boss, I know what it costs. Have you ever lost? I'm so versatile, yeah, I'm a Renaissance, man. I can do it all, I will never fall. It's the Renaissance, you know that I got the mother sauce, man. You know I'm the boss, I know what it costs. Have you ever lost? I'm so versatile, yeah, I'm a Renaissance, man.
What's going on, everybody? I hope y'all all had a great Thanksgiving. Hope y'all got to enjoy your time with your family and your friends and express your thanks and your blessings. But we're back, man. It's back. It's Hangar HangOut episode 66. I can't believe we're already at episode 66, going into the end of the year. Crazy to me how fast this time has flown by. But yeah, listen. Since the last time we were here, the Jets were able to gift us with yet another win, and I, for one, am ecstatic with how our New York Jets have been playing football for us the last couple of weeks. Uh, you know what's crazy though? As ecstatic as I've been about it, some of us are ecstatic with our team winning. I know that. There's some individuals who are happy about this. Some individuals are proud to see their team getting W's, which is what most fans you would think would want for their team. There are some within the fan base that are very upset that their team is winning games. It's crazy to me. But there are actually individual fans that are upset that the New York Jets are playing good football and are winning games. They really believe that the Jets are blowing an opportunity. I guess, to rebuild via losing games on purpose. Like, I don't understand the logic personally, but this has been a thought process for some of our fan base that the Jets need to be losing games on purpose, tanking, so to speak, in order for us to get back to winning faster. Is again the thought process. Listen, this irked me so much so that I had to go ahead and do some research on it. Started doing some digging into this philosophy and this thought process. And oh boy, simply put, in the 21st century, that's just not true. Losing does not lead to winning football games. And the proof is in the pudding. So we're going to be diving into one of the wildest quarterback stats of the modern era. And honestly, it might shock you guys because it threw me for a loop as well whenever I was doing this research. But we're going to talk draft order. We're going to talk about the New York Jets right now. We're going to talk about the tanking and the value of the first overall pick. But in all actuality, I want to know if it's getting that number one pick or if winning games is actually more valuable than chasing draft position. Because this back and forth we've been having with fellow Jets fans has gotten out of hand. It's gotten borderline ridiculous, if you ask me. And the fact of the matter is, it's a question we got to ask ourselves. Listen, it's how many quarterbacks drafted number one overall in the 21st century have actually won a Super Bowl for the team that drafted them? I'm gonna give y'all a second to think about that, right? Like, how many quarterbacks since 2000, since the year 2000, we're in 2025, in the 21st century, that was drafted first overall, brought their team that drafted them a Super Bowl? Now, I've made this argument already on X. I've gotten people to, I guess, feedback saying that I was taking it lightly, or I don't believe there's value in having a higher draft pick, etc. Not the point being made at all. The whole point has been that the New York Jets right now, by winning games, are jeopardizing their ability to start winning football games again, because you're not going to be able to get a good quarterback. And I understand that quarterback is the most important position on the field. I'm not going to argue that, because that is in fact facts. But the idea that you need your team to suck on purpose, mind you, to lose games, to get the first overall pick because you believe that's going to be how you turn things around faster is undeniably false. Like the answer to the question of how many freaking quarterbacks drafted in the 21st century first overall has brought the team that drafted them a Super Bowl, zero. Not one. Not a single quarterback that has been drafted in the 21st century has brought their team that drafted them a Super Bowl. Not Burrow, not Kyler, not Baker, not Goff, not Winston, not Luck, not Cam Newton. None of them have brought a Lombardi home to the franchise that invested the biggest draft capital possible in them. So the thought process that you get the first overall pick means you get the quarterback that's the best quarterback in the draft, and that person's going to go ahead and turn things around for you. It's not true. It's not true. Simply not true. We haven't seen that result in wins or in a championship in the 21st century. It hasn't happened. Like we always hear tank for the number one pick, but history says winning game gets you a lot farther than losing on purpose to draft a guy who might pan out because this mind you, it's a lottery pick. The first overall pick, any pick in the draft is in essence lottery pick. So why are we stuck on this whole thought process of we've got to tank, we've got to suck, we've got to lose games so we can go ahead and save the franchise when historically speaking, it hasn't really worked in 25 years. Like, I don't understand it. I don't understand how we're in a situation now where we've got Jets fans who are legitimately pissed off because the team that you root for is winning games. And it's funny to me how, like, some of them will talk about how, like, oh, that it doesn't mean anything to win these games because Adam Gase, we started off slow and then we went on a winning streak. And whether that resulted, Adam Gase was a moron. We all knew Adam Gase was a moron from day one. From the press conference, we realized that was a mistake. The Adam Gase thing should have never happened. We got freaking Peyton Manning got us. We got. We should have never brought in freaking Adam Gase into the building. We did. It is what it is. One of the worst decisions made by the franchise. But to use him as an example as to why winning now wouldn't matter to me, it's just comical. It's comical. Like literally somebody argued back that, well, when Adam Gase was the coach, we started off 1 and whatever, and we went on a 7-game winning streak to win whatever it was, whatever the argument was. That didn't pan out well. Are we really comparing Adam Gase to any real NFL head coach? That's the depth we've dug into to go ahead and try to win an argument. But Adam Gase was literally what was said to me in regards to why winning games now doesn't matter, and that we need to tank and lose on purpose so we can get the first overall pick and go get the savior of the franchise. What's up, Walt Chu? Nice to see you here, man. Appreciate you for joining us. My bad not being here last week, but as I said before, man, Thanksgiving, had to prep the turkey, man, so I couldn't do the hangout last week. I couldn't wait to get back on, though, and chop it up with you, man. Appreciate you for being in the chat. It's one of the most ridiculous arguments because the data shows that is not the case. So, of course, I went back and forth with several individuals on X, trying to debate them in regards to why it doesn't make sense that you want to go ahead and lose. It makes more sense to watch the team win now to see how these guys get better, to go ahead and see what our coach can do. But they're not hearing it, man. They're stuck in their ways. I think a lot of these Jets fans just enjoy losing. They enjoy being miserable. They can't look at this right now and think it's potentially a positive that the New York Jets are on a trajectory of winning games. There's still a chance the Jets could make the playoffs. It's December. Now, before y'all come for me, I understand it's a 1 in a million shot. I understand it's highly unlikely, dare I say improbable, impossible. But the Jets are still technically in the playoff hunt. They are. Now, a few teams have been eliminated thus far. Jets are not one of them. And there's several scenarios, and I wanted to screenshot that and share it here. But Jets Worldwide, I believe it was, they broke down the scenarios where 5 different things, 4 things have to happen, and the Jets can make the playoffs. I mean, one of them, of course, being we win out, the remainder of the season, and then some other things have to happen. But the Jets are still in it. We are still in it in freaking December. And I think a lot of us coming into the season, we wanted to see ourselves in that little freaking in the hunt freaking graphic that shows up on games as the season progresses in the December timeframe. I'm not saying we're going to be in that graphic, but I'm just saying we could be. We still have the chance to be. So until we're not, we're still in this game. The point of the matter is this, man. I think we're missing the point of what this team is accomplishing right now with, let's be honest, man, without an NFL starting quarterback, Tyrod Taylor has looked good. We've seen progress in the offense with a competent quarterback behind center. But Tyrod is not, you know what I'm saying, he's not an NFL starting quarterback, not anymore. Justin Fields was diabolical, right? That was a nightmare situation, but whatever, we went through it. We just traded away two of our best players, and we're developing, and we're seeing how a lot of these young guys, you know, react to the coaching, how they're showing it on the field. And they've shown some ridiculous progress. From A.Z. Thomas to freaking A.D. Mitchell, Mechie. We've seen some amazing progress in regards to some of these young guys from the coaching they're receiving to go ahead and show you some results. And I think that matters. Like, if zero quarterbacks drafted first overall in the last 25 years have not been able to bring a Super Bowl to their franchise, what's the point? Like literally, what's the point? I don't understand why this is one of those things where we hear like it's tank because it's supposed to happen, but it doesn't. It doesn't allow you to go ahead and get closer to a Super Bowl by hoping the guy you draft number one winds up being the guy. Listen, so when we talk about the last time the first number one overall pick actually panned out, I think. Well, okay, so when was the last time the number one overall quarterback actually won a Super Bowl for the team that drafted him? That was a question that I also put out there. And in all actuality, some people, they came out with like, oh, Eli Manning. Nope, Eli Manning wasn't drafted by the Giants. He was drafted by the freaking Chargers, traded to the Giants. And then the comedy was, well, if the Giants had the number one overall pick, they would have drafted him anyway. I was like, doesn't matter. He wasn't drafted by the Giants. They were traded for him, which the Jets could do also if they love Mendoza and wanted to trade up for him, or Simpson and trade up for him. They could do the same thing. But I argued that Eli Manning, who was without question, the number one quarterback in that 2004 NFL draft. Like, everybody knew it. That was the consensus. He was the number one guy. In the end, Phillip Rivers was better. Ben Roethlisberger was way better. So the number 4 quarterback drafted and the number 11 quarterback drafted were significantly better than Eli Manning. The only difference is Eli Manning, won 2 Super Bowls. So he beats out, I guess you can say he beats out Phillip Rivers in that aspect. But Ben Roethlisberger definitely beat out freaking Eli Manning in terms of Super Bowls, individual accolades. It wasn't even close. But if you have to go back to it, right, for the quarterback that was drafted first overall, that won a Super Bowl for the franchise that drafted him, it's Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning, who was drafted in 1997, 1998. He won with the Colts finally in the 2006 season. Like almost a decade later, that he finally won a Super Bowl for the franchise that drafted him. So Peyton Manning's the only person to have done it, you know what I'm saying, like since the late 90s into the 21st century. Like Peyton Manning, that's the one guy who was able to go ahead and bring a Super Bowl to the franchise that drafted him, and it still took him 9-8 years to go ahead and do so. That's it. That's the last one. Over 25 years of football. And no number one overall QB has been able to repeat that ever since. A quarter century of evidence is telling us that building a winning culture beats out gambling everything on being bad enough to get the top pick. And we still have individuals arguing like that's the roadmap we need to be following. It's insane to me. Like the data points are there. You don't have to do much to see, like, Google it. All I did was jump on Google to go ahead and make sure my facts matched up. And Google it's easy. You can look it up and realize that formula just simply doesn't work. It just doesn't. Again, I can't believe that we're in a situation to where Jets fans are mad. They're pissed that the Jets are winning. The team is playing like a team. They're playing for pride, culture, and the name on their jersey, right? That matters. You're trying to build a winning culture with a bunch of young guys with a young coaching staff, and you're seeing them win games. They didn't quit on the coach. Like, this stuff matters, and yet we're upset because we'd rather lose on purpose so we can get the number 1 overall pick and gamble on that dude being the savior, vice incorporating a winning mindset into your young roster, a winning mindset into your coaching staff, so that, you know what I'm saying, becomes infectious. It's mind-boggling to me that there's this debate currently going on and that people are arguing this, and that we're on Twitter right now, on X, fighting about the New York Jets winning games amongst our own fan base. We're fighting about our team actually winning games. Waltu said, what happened with Peyton when he came out the draft? Why he went back? Did Parcells not commit to him? Yeah, so the story with that was Peyton Manning wanted to be the first overall pick. I want to say it was the draft the year before he was drafted. He wanted to be the number 1 pick. And I want to say it was Parcells. And I believe that his father, whatnot, had reached out to Parcells, Peyton's father, and he wanted to go ahead and get, confirmation that, like, hey, if Peyton comes out, you're going to draft him, right? Which is why I think it's crazy that some people say if, like, Archie Manning comes out, like, he would never be a New York Jet. Like, Peyton wanted to be a New York Jet, or not a New York Jet, whoever the number 1 pick was. The whole point was to be the number 1 overall pick. And the Parcells wouldn't commit to him. Parcells wouldn't commit to him as that he was going to be the guy. And so because of that, Peyton Manning went back to school. And that's how that story goes. Big Will, he goes, we need to see what we have. Tanking is a gamble. Pick first doesn't guarantee anything. Plus, we need to take a QB in 2026, not 2027. If our pick is a bust, still have a chance in 2027. 100%. I couldn't agree with you more, Big Will. I think we need to go ahead and analyze the coaching staff, analyze the players currently here, so we know what this quarterback of the future is going to have around him, and where we need to go ahead and infuse more capital to put pieces around him. Because ultimately, it's really about what is around the quarterback that's going to make him successful. There's no quarterback coming out, unless your name is Andrew Luck, who I do believe is the only generational quarterback that we've seen in the last, like, 20-something years. It was Peyton Manning, then it was Andrew Luck. There's been no other generational quarterbacks ever since. The whole point of it being a generational quarterback is once in a lifetime type thing. Like, so in my lifetime, I should see one generational quarterback. For some reason, every draft, there's a generational quarterback coming out. People have diluted what the meaning is. But Andrew Luck was that dude. And I believe the Colts would have probably gotten a Super Bowl if they didn't get the guy killed every freaking game. They didn't really invest around him. It was so bad with the Colts. As good as Andrew Luck was, he just said, you know what, man, I'm over it. I'm just going to retire. This team's going to get me killed. Dude decided to retire. But I agree with you, man. I do believe that you need to go ahead and invest in the team now, see what you've got, so you know where these assets you just got are going to go to building around who the quarterback is. And I am not opposed to grabbing a quarterback in 2026. And if that dude shows us in 2026, that season, that he might not be the dude, if you even think he might not be able to see the next level, I don't care. Draft another one in 2027. People are like, oh, you're going to just waste draft. It's the quarterback position. I would rather us go ahead and draft a guy we really feel good about in 2026 without having to give up a lot of capital, because the more I think about it, I don't think I want to give up any capital to move up to get any of these guys. Mendoza, Simpson, I love Mendoza. I love him a lot, but I don't know if I would consider these guys their ceiling to me, you know what I'm saying? Like, isn't the kind of ceiling you feel comfortable about investing a lot of assets in to go ahead and move up. Get me one of the guys you feel good about. I'm going to say it right now. I think Aller is going to go ahead and go earlier than most people think he's going to go in the 4th round. The guy was a first-round quarterback last year, got hurt this year. He's going to fall into that 2nd or 3rd round. I think this quarterback class is kind of weak. I would like to see us get Drew Aller, bring him into the freaking building. I'd be willing to throw a 2nd-round pick at it, even though most people probably would not, to not risk losing out on him. He's a big-bodied guy. He can make all the throws. He's got a strong arm. We all loved him last year, thinking he was going to come out, and he didn't. All of a sudden, because of recency bias, people just kind of forgot, because he's been hurt, that he can play quarterback at a pretty good high level. And I love his mentality as well. You want to go ahead and bring in Drew Aller next year or in this draft with a second rounder or whatever. I wouldn't waste a first rounder on him. That's just me because of the injury concern. But if you want to go ahead and throw a second round pick at him, I'm not mad at it. If you can get him for a third or a fourth, I'm ecstatic about it. But I think you bring a quarterback in this draft class, see what he's got. If you don't believe he's your dude, 2027, you go and grab a quarterback then too. And honestly, I don't think there's something wrong with that. I think as you build this roster, as you figure out who those guys are going to be, you understand that quarterback is the most important position on the field. You go get the guy you believe is going to allow you to go ahead and see the most success. So I'm with you 100%. I think that we should, if we have to, draft a quarterback in both drafts, this draft and next draft, and it wouldn't faze me not one bit. What up, Vero? Welcome to the chat, man. Appreciate you. There are so many fickle New York City fans. After that win, I had to stop listening to the podcast to see how many fans were upset and ranting about how losing screws. Listen, man, it's crazy. It's crazy to me. I understand that some people are afraid of success, and I believe there are Jets fans who are actually genuinely terrified of success. I think that they've got Jets PTSD. They've been through it. They've gone through it. And right now, they're just looking for a safety blanket. The safety blanket to them is the ability for the New York Jets to get a top draft pick. So they believe it increases their chances of landing the guy. But again, history is showing us that that's not the case. There isn't a guy, right? Sam Darnold hasn't looked good in the NFL until he was surrounded by talent that was able to help elevate his skill set. I think it's going to matter of where we're at as a unit so the quarterback can come in here and thrive. I don't think you can go ahead and expect a quarterback to be the guy. Again, Joe Burrow couldn't do it. Trevor Lawrence hasn't done it. Caleb Williams. Right now, Caleb Williams and Trevor Lawrence are winning. Their team is winning. And people are like, well, I saw somebody point them out. I'm like, well, if you look at their QBRs, I think Caleb Williams is 26th QBR in the league, and I think Trevor's 24. They're not playing generational talents, but they've got a great roster around them, right? They've got some good, solid coaching, and they're winning games because of that. They're not, in my opinion, the reason their teams are winning. They're good game managers right now, not costing their team wins. That's not generation. That wasn't first overall pick worthy performances you're seeing from these guys as their teams are currently winning right now, which further goes to show you the value of having the situation around the quarterback matter significantly more than the quarterback itself. And there's more data to prove that. We're going to go down the list because there's more to it. But I do believe that right now there's a group of Jets fans who they're just so scared of winning. They're scared of success. They're hurt, man. They've been broken by this team so often, and I understand that. I really do get that. But my goodness, man, I'm enjoying this. If you're a Jets fan right now and it's December, the team has not been eliminated yet from playoff contention. And it's December. They were 3-2, you know what I'm saying, the last month. I'm enjoying this. I'm here thinking hey, what if we do win out? What could possibly happen? Because I'm a Jets fan, man. I enjoy my team winning. Victory Mondays are awesome. Losing games, I could deal with it because, okay, if we're losing games, yeah, great. At least our draft capital improves. I can understand if that's your thought process. You want your team to win, but if you lose at this current stage right now, oh, we lost that game, you know what I'm saying? Well, at least our draft capital, our draft spot just got better. I can see you making that correlation. I just don't understand how you're mad that the team wins and you're hoping this team continues to lose. That to me is where you lose me. You just lose me. If the team loses, cool, great. Our draft position just got better. If they win, that's awesome. And I want them to ruin the days of other teams they're going to play. Every team they play from here on out, I want you to be the thorn in their side. I want you to ruin their day, ruin their season, right? If you can drop the Patriots out of being first in the AFC to second, I'll take that. I love that. I want to go ahead and ruin, you know what I'm saying, the season as much as we can for other teams that are currently on our schedule. That's just my thought process. But yeah, there's some fans that again, they're hurt, man, and they're scared. They're scared of seeing this right now and enjoying it because in their mind it means, oh my gosh, the chances of us landing a quarterback next in the draft gets harder and harder because we don't have the first overall pick. Even though the first overall pick doesn't matter because the data proves that's not how you win Super Bowls in the 21st century. It's just not. So unfortunate, it really is. Vero, regardless of record draft picks, our admin and staff have have a rebuilding and draft plan. They deserve a chance to shoot their shot. We can judge them on past records, rosters, and regimes. Facts. Like, and the fact that the argument is it's the Jets. Then okay, then if it's the Jets, then why watch? Then don't watch. If you already know it's the Jets, then cool. You've got the answer for the next couple of years. Don't watch the games. Don't go to the games. Don't get upset because you've already identified what the Jets are. So you already know. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your time. But that's the thought process. Oh, well, the Jets have never done this or they've never done that. Cool story, bro. We didn't have this coaching staff. We didn't have these players. We didn't have this general manager. It's not the same freaking people that have messed it up in the past that are currently in the building. So I don't know what to tell you. So you can keep saying like, oh, it's the Jets, except it's not though. This is a whole different regime of individuals who are now in the organization trying to change. That's the whole point. That's why you fire the stuff that you get rid of the people that are not working and you put in new people until you get it right. That's just the math of it all. And a lot of teams have gone through this throughout their existence, right? Where the Patriots weren't always a dynasty. The Patriots used to be a laughing stock until Robert Kraft came in there, and then he got his GM, and then he got his freaking coach, and then they became it took time. We haven't hit our stride yet. Like that's our fault. We had our early success as a franchise, won Super Bowl III, and then we've been in purgatory since then. I don't know what we did wrong. We've been in purgatory, but the process is ongoing until we get the right group of individuals in there to go ahead and win football games. And I'll be the first to admit, I loved the AG signing. Thought he was going to be a stud. Starting off, I thought to myself, my goodness, this guy is lost. I don't think he belongs here. But in the last month and a half, I've shut up because AG has made moves, has done things on the sideline that I believe is showing us that he's getting it. AG has done things in the last month and a half that's letting me believe that, okay, he's learning as he's going on. He's getting settled in his ways. So I'm starting to feel more comfortable with my coach, and I want to keep analyzing him as such because I know that unless you got the coach and the quarterback, it doesn't matter. So I'm not going to root for my coach to fail. I'm glad he's showing growth. He's showing progress. I'm glad this team hasn't quit on him because by all intents and purposes, if this was solid last year, this team would have already quit. I like seeing that. We should like seeing that because it speaks to the culture he's trying to build, which, again, has more value and more impact in winning games. What's up, Miguel? Nice to see you here, brother, man. Hope you had a good Thanksgiving. I appreciate you. Big Will goes, how do you feel about the Falcons PI that wasn't called and the catch that was taken away? It could have been a game changer. It felt like the same old Jets. Yeah, it could have been a game changer. I won't lie to you, man. I was sitting there like, why? Like, what did we do wrong to where even something as obvious as this, we can't even have go our way? But the same old Jets, I think, would have saw that the same way we did and would have collapsed. I thought that was the game changer for us. I really did. And that didn't stop these guys from fighting and finding and grinding and getting that W, man. That was a gritty win. Like, that was a very, very gritty win. And you love to see it. So I was surprised, Big Will. I really was. I thought like that was going to be the catalyst that we've all seen in our games where like there's that one thing that happens to the Jets and they just kind of like collapse and they lose themselves. But they didn't though, right? And then boys kept playing and then they wound up winning the game. So again, that in itself is a change in, you know what I'm saying, in terms of culture. But yeah, but again, the philosophy of getting that top pick, right? It hasn't worked. It hasn't worked. Like, in fact, if not the top picks, like who has actually been winning Super Bowls? So if getting the number one overall pick isn't the formula, if that's not the math, what is the math? Like, what is the formula to win Super Bowls? Well, let's go down the list of the 21st century champions and their draft positions. I really love doing this math. As we all know, there's a guy named Tom Brady. Hate his guts. But Tom Brady was taken 199th overall in the 6th round. 7 Super Bowls, greatest of all time, drafted behind 198 other dudes. The 199th guy. Not only the best in his draft class, not only the best in the 21st century, Tom Brady will go down arguably as the best quarterback of all time. we can. I hate it. I hate saying it. I'm not a fan of that. It hurts me to my core to have to admit that. But if you're a fan of football, you've got to be honest. Tom Brady was drafted 199th overall. He didn't even look like a football player, but he was drafted. And Bill Belichick will tell you, like, oh, I knew all along that he was going to be. Shut up. Bill didn't know that. Bill just said we needed to go ahead and grab somebody to put on the practice squad or whatnot. You know what? Let's just grab this dude because his football IQ seems high. And that was why they drafted Tom Brady. He didn't have any physical gifts that made you think he was going to be a stud. He didn't put up the numbers and kind of make you think, like, my gosh, this dude's him. Bill Belichick is so full of shit. He's made it seem like, oh, man, we knew we wanted him. But if you knew you wanted him, you wouldn't have waited to the 199th pick to get the guy. Just be honest, man. You got lucky. You got lucky and you got yourself a dog, a guy who was self-motivated, who was pissed, and he was a workaholic. Tom Brady became the greatest of all time. He wasn't the most talented. He wasn't the most gifted. He lacked a lot of physical ability. He didn't even look like a football player. Tom Brady had that intangible that you look for in your quarterbacks, right? He had that intangible. The dude had fight in him. He had that dog in him, as they say. The work ethic was unquestioned. His football IQ was through the roof, and it just kept getting better and better and better. And the dude, once he took reins of the freaking position, he knew he had to outwork everybody. He had to do more. He had to go ahead and show that he couldn't let it go. And he didn't. You got yourself a dog in the 6th round, 199th pick. Don't tell me, Bill, because you're not a genius, Bill. Tom Brady was one of one, and you happen to get the greatest of all time in the 6th round. Now, I'm not saying that's the norm. Not the norm, right? You're not going to go ahead and find somebody in the 6th round that's going to be the next Tom Brady. You might. It's feasible. But it's not like the norm. So whenever I bring this up, they're like, well, Tom Brady is the exception to the rule. He's not the norm. Like, what are you talking about? Okay, cool. Brad Johnson. Brad Johnson was drafted 227th overall, 9th round pick, Super Bowl champion with the Bucs. Brad Johnson wasn't a first rounder, wasn't a second rounder, wasn't a third rounder. So 2 of the Super Bowl winning champions in the 21st century were drafted outside of the top 5 rounds. Brad Johnson won Super Bowl with Tampa Bay Bucks. It can be done. It's happened twice now in back-to-back situations. So then we're going to go down to my favorite one right now is because in the 2004 draft, the Eli Manning one, where everybody's arguing, well, Eli Manning went first overall to the Giants. No, he didn't. Went to the Chargers, and I tried to make this. Well, technically, if the Giants had the first overall pick, they would have grabbed Eli Manning. And they would have been wrong. I would have argued if the Giants were so bad to get the first overall pick, they wouldn't have won any Super Bowls, right? Because the Chargers, who wind up having the first overall pick, got the better quarterback in Phillip Rivers. Phillip Rivers, pound for pound, stat to stat, was a better quarterback than Eli Manning. No Super Bowls. Why? Because of the Chargers. First overall pick, the team that had the worst winning record in that season. The team was way, way behind. Eli Manning went to a better team. It wound up paying off to him because Eli Manning wasn't that great. This guy was a below-average quarterback that just happened to elevate his game in the playoffs. That was it. Below-average quarterback throughout his career, elevated his game in the playoffs, won 2 Super Bowls. Eli Manning was not better than Phillip Rivers. Phillip Rivers was diabolically better. You know who else was better? Ben Roethlisberger, who was the 3rd quarterback taken in that draft. The 11th overall pick. 2 rings with Pittsburgh. Not a number 1 pick. He was after Eli Manning. He was after Phillip Rivers, number 11. And he was better than both of them. Big Ben had a better career than Phillip Rivers and Eli Manning. Eli Manning, the uncontested number 1 quarterback at that time, couldn't sniff Ben Roethlisberger's jock. Couldn't do it. They both got 2 Super Bowls, so you can't do the whole Super Bowl thing. Pound for pound, stat by stat, Ben smoke checked Eli Manning. 11th overall pick in that 2004 draft class. So even though the freaking Giants traded up to get Eli Manning from the Chargers via trade, they still did it wrong. They got the wrong guy. I argue if they had stuck with Phillip Rivers, they would have probably won more Super Bowls. If they had gotten Ben Roethlisberger, they would have probably won more Super Bowls because Eli Manning was below average. Those two guys were freaking franchise quarterbacks, in my opinion. Another one for you guys, Drew Brees. Y'all remember Drew Brees? 32nd overall pick. One ring with the Saints. Now, I'll say this. He wasn't drafted by the Saints. So there's that, right? He was drafted by, I want to say it was the Chargers, right? And he got traded to the Saints. But Drew Brees, man, was the first pick in round 2. I think 32nd or 33rd overall. I think it was 32nd. I don't think there was a 32nd team. So I think it was his first pick of the second round. Drew Brees, Super Bowl with the Saints. And All-Pro, Pro Bowler, fun to watch. The Saints were a dynamite team to watch in the Drew Brees era. He made Sean Payton who Sean Payton is. Or they collectively made each other, right? Sean Payton career elevated, blew up under Drew Brees and vice versa. 32nd overall pick, second rounder. Aaron Rodgers, one ring with the Packers. He got them a ring, right? But he was the 24th overall pick in the first round. Got him a ring. Joe Flacco, Uncle Joe, 18th overall pick. He had that. I mean, let's be honest. That was probably one of the most magical seasons of all time. I'm talking about like that postseason run is probably top 3 of all time. He like throw no interceptions that entire postseason. He had a miracle run, but nevertheless, 18th overall pick, was able to go ahead and get his team that drafted him a Super Bowl. He wasn't the number 1 pick, wasn't even a top 10 pick. Was able to go ahead and get his team into a Super Bowl. Russell freaking Wilson. Y'all remember him? Yeah, Russell Wilson was a 75th overall pick, a third rounder. He won a ring, and he would have had 2 if they had just handed it off to Marshawn Lynch. He would have had 2. But for some reason, they wanted to throw it. And then again, that quarterback wound up messing it up. And they lost to the Patriots, which I'll never forgive them for that because that could have, put a little dent in the Tom Brady and Bill Belichick dynasty. But could have had 2 rings, man. But third round pick, 75th overall. And Russell Wilson balled out for years. Made some Pro Bowls. The Seattle Seahawks were relevant with him at quarterback. Those fans aren't mad that they were able to grab a third round quarterback and have themselves some joy over a 6 to 8 year period where he was the quarterback. I mean, now he's trash, but that's besides the point. How about Nick Foles? Y'all remember him? Third round pick, 88th overall. That was 8th year. Now he delivered. I think it was the Eagles' first ever actual trophy. And the Eagles have had guys like Donovan McNabb, right? They had Mike Vick. First ever Super Bowl, and I could be wrong about that, but I think first ever Super Bowl, Nick Foles delivered that to the Eagles. I have to check that, but I'm positive Nick Foles did that. Nick Foles was the 80th overall pick, third rounder, Super Bowl champion. Then, of course, there's this guy named Patrick Mahomes. Apparently, right now, there's never been a more gifted quarterback of all time. He's the only person that's remotely close to catching a guy like a Tom Brady in terms of accolades and achievements. He was picked 10th overall. 10th overall. He wasn't a first, second, or third pick. 10th overall pick. He's already got 3 rings. He's, I think, just about to hit 30, so he's got some time to get some more. They are considered the new dynasty after the freaking Patriots. I mean, of course, this year they've fallen off a cliff, but I'm happy for them. I hate seeing other teams succeed if it's not the Jets. So I'm enjoying the fact that they're starting to tumble. But Patrick Mahomes, 10th overall pick. Y'all remember Matthew Stafford. Now, he was one that was a first overall pick. He did win a Super Bowl, but with the Rams, not with the team that originally drafted him, the Detroit Lions. So even though he was the first overall pick, the team who sucked bad enough to get him with the first overall pick did not win a Super Bowl with him as their quarterback. But then when he left, he went to a better team and whatnot, I think with the Rams, and he won a Super Bowl with them. Like if you notice something here, man, these guys didn't come from tanking. They came from competent teams that built a roster and a culture, and they put their quarterbacks in the best position to win. That's the formula. That is without question the formula. Like, the data speaks for itself. This is not my feelings about, oh my God, somebody said, oh, you think the first overall pick doesn't matter. I didn't say it didn't matter. I'm saying it's not worth tanking over because there's no guarantee you're going to win by purposely losing games. Because again, when you start doing that, in my opinion, you're normalizing losing. You're getting your guys to believe that losing is one of the options available on the table on Sundays. When you're actively tanking, and I to me, I think as a Marine, so when it comes to the Marines, right? When it comes to the Marines, Navy SEALs, like all the elite fighting forces, you never train or train them to lose. You don't train them to lose a fight. You don't train them to go ahead and lose on the rifle range when they're shooting. When you're practicing to kill. You're practicing to win your engagements. That's what we're taught. That's how we're trained, to always be winning, right? Why? Because you don't want that to get in the back of their psyche. You don't want that to even remotely believe it's an option for them, that losing is a possibility in a gunfight, right? That's the same mentality you gotta take with your freaking sports team. You can't be a coach and have these young players, and then now you're starting to kind of like spoon feed the, you know what, we're gonna go ahead and do this, do that. That would of course result in losing. That losing is okay. You want them to believe winning is the only thing. They've got to believe it's the only thing. They've got to practice like they're going to win. They got to believe that they're going to go ahead and win. And you got to go on Sundays and push them to get wins. If they lose, then they lose. That happens. But they got to believe that that's all there is on the table. It's all about winning. The whole tanking crowd, man, like you're literally trying to infuse what the New York Jets have been for the last 2 decades into a roster of young players. I think like the 6th youngest roster in the NFL. You want to infuse into them that, losing, it's okay. Like that to me makes 0 sense. How is that going to change the culture that's already been? We're tired of losing. We as fans have experienced enough of it. We don't want any more of it. When you get an influx of new blood in the building, new coach, new GM, young players, you don't want the losing mentality to be what is deemed okay. No. This is how you go ahead and you kind of like wash that out. You train the way you fight. You coach the way you're going to play. You want them to believe at all times that winning is the only thing. Again, I don't understand the thought process of wanting to lose games because of what? Because maybe you get the first overall pick and get a guy who's probably not going to win you a Super Bowl anyway, because that's just what history has told us is the case. The first overall pick quarterback is not going to win you a Super Bowl in the NFL. It's just not. I look at the arguments being made for this, and it's all emotional. It's all feelings based, and it's coming from a Jets fan base that I get it has been beaten up. We've been beaten up, bro. We have been. Ladies and gents, we've been beaten up. We've been put through the ringer. This team has made it hard to believe that success is possible. But because they made it hard to believe it, like now when we're seeing wins and we fell in love with a player in college that hasn't set the day in the NFL yet, now we're getting in our feelings because they're getting further and further out of reach. Oh man, the player that I love in the draft, we're not going to get him now because we're winning games. Winning is what matters. Winning cures all. Like it really does. I went from being really, really pissed off and doubtful at my coach to I'm looking like, okay, maybe AG can go ahead and do this thing a little bit. I got to see some more. I'm not completely sold that we've got to figure it out. I got to see some more. But the direction we're going in is promising. It's very promising. Look, man, the real lesson here is this, man. In the 21st century, Super Bowl winning quarterbacks come from literally everywhere in the draft except the number 1 overall pick. Literally everywhere on the draft board except number 1. And for anyone arguing Eli Manning again, I'm not going to argue with you, man. You believe what you want. Eli Manning was not drafted by the Giants. Drafted by the Chargers. Traded to the Giants. Every number 1 pick drafted did not bring a Super Bowl to the team that drafted them. You don't need to lose on purpose to get a generational talent. You don't. Right now, we've got AG, we've got Muji. Both come with freaking scouting backgrounds. They've made some nice moves in regards to trading for some talent. Mason Taylor's looking good. Memble's looking good. AZ Thomas is looking really good, right? Corley, looking like you're seeing some of those picks come to fruition. And every time I bring this up, the argument is Justin Fields. Look, man, I get that point. Some people wanted Jameis Winston. I would have loved Jameis Winston. They went with Justin Fields because of the ceiling the kid has. Justin Fields has an incredibly high ceiling. Justin Fields has shown progress over the last couple of years. Actually, since coming into the league, every single year he's gotten better. If one is on the outside looking in, you can think like he hasn't had the support structure. He hasn't had the belief of his coaches in order for him to go ahead and hit that next level. He didn't have a lot of help in Chicago. He gets to the Steelers, and then he won games, and they wound up benching him. So I see the why. Okay, you saw him in regards to he brings an elite ability with his legs, right? Elite athleticism. So you've got that one elite trait. He's got a big arm. He can make all the throws. Can you go ahead and get him to be more consistent when it comes to the passing? They took a gamble. They overpaid for the gamble, but they took a gamble. It didn't pan out. It didn't pan out. Some people say you should have brought Jameis Winston in. Cool. I'm not going to argue with you. Jameis Winston would have been cool. Some people say, well, Daniel Jones was available too. Stop it. Daniel Jones was available, but it wasn't nobody on in Jets spaces anywhere talking about Daniel Jones being the safe. No, he wasn't an option. Danny Dimes wasn't going to be the dude that you wanted in that building, and you know it. But now that he's had some success with the Colts, everyone's coming out like, I really wanted Daniel Jones. Fuck out of here. You didn't want Daniel Jones. Stop that. Winning games creates a winning locker room, man. It just does. A winning locker room attracts free agents. It stabilizes coaches, and it builds confidence. The number one pick is simply a lottery pick. Winning football is a blueprint. It's literally a blueprint. Being the number one overall QB doesn't mean you'll win. And winning a Super Bowl doesn't require being the top pick. It's about landing in the right system with the right coaching and the right organizational structure. And I think right now the current regime is trying to do it right. They're trying to do it that way. So that's why drafting a quarterback is the biggest gamble in sports. And why culture, coaching, and consistency beats draft position every single time. Every single time. The 21st century is proof of that. You've got to go ahead and have the pieces in play in order for you to go ahead and elevate your chances of being successful. And I think right now, AG, Muji, first-time GM, first-time head coach, they're settling down as the season progresses. Muji has been an absolute chef in terms of the pieces he's brought in via trade, bringing in guys like A.D. Mitchell, Briggs, bringing down like Mechie, like Harrison, like the pieces he's brought into the building, man. Brownlee, oh my gosh, these guys. This is why you like Muji when we thought he was coming in. This is why you like AG when he was coming in. They come from that scouting background, right? That's how they got their teeth into this process of the front office when it comes to the NFL mold. They're showing you those skills because they're bringing in guys that Brandon Stevens. Remember when we were all talking shit about Brandon Stevens? We were all like, "What? Why would we do the Ravens? The Ravens are a great organization. They know players. Why would we go ahead and bring this bum in the building?" Brandon Stevens is a top 10 corner in the NFL right now, and in the last 2 months, he's actually a top 5 corner in the NFL right now. You can look at this team and be mad that they're successful, which is fine, but you're not being real with yourself if you're not talking about the successes as well. And if you're that fan who's looking at this and all you want them to do is to lose, you're not being honest with yourself in regards to this team being successful long term. Because the thought process is the easy get the number one quarter, the number one pick, get the quarterback, and we're golden. It's not true. It's just not true. Listen, man, the Jets have had the number 2 pick, the number 3 pick, Sam Darnold, Zach Wilson. It didn't matter, man. And it wouldn't have mattered if we had brought Trevor Lawrence in that year because he's trash too. Generational talent, below average quarterback. Below average. Yeah, it wouldn't have made a difference for the team. It wouldn't have been. We're not winning the Super Bowl with Trevor Lawrence. We probably would have maybe made a playoff because our defense was maybe made a playoffs. Trevor Lawrence isn't the answer for the Jaguars. He ain't taking them to the promised land. Isn't that what it's all about? Like, we've done the high draft pick quarterback before, and it hasn't panned out. Sam Darnold was supposed to be the number 1 quarterback in that draft class. Remember that? Number 1 quarterback in that draft class. And we couldn't believe he dropped to us. Could not believe it. We, of course, picked him up. He showed flashes and consistent. And it took him what, year 7, year 8 right now to finally put it all together. And he's looking like an NFL quarterback, although he's fallen off the last couple of weeks in Seattle. Like, it took him that long. Were we going to wait that long for us to go ahead and make it happen? No, because why? We didn't have the structure around him. He was a top quarterback picked, and as often, they don't win Super Bowls for their teams, but they go somewhere else anyway. He might win one for Seattle. Maybe he does. They've got the structure around him. He's been in the league long enough now for him to see the field better. I hope the New York Jets continue to win games. I do. In fact, I want them to win all the games. I want them to go ahead and go undefeated the rest of the way. I can't stress it enough, man. I don't believe that tanking or losing games is going to make this team better. I think that if you want to see this team get better, win games, be gritty, show other free agents, because we're going to have $100 million this year and $200 million next year available in free agency. Show these other players that, like, you're building a culture of competence and effort and grit. Make them want to come here. That's going to help speed the process along a lot faster than hoping and betting on a guy who's never stepped on an NFL field and won anything, getting some proven veterans into the building, wanting to come be New York Jets players, wanting to come play with AG. Those things are going to matter in regards to turning this thing around. That's just facts. We can. I'm not arguing anymore about it. If you want to go ahead and choose the route of being upset and being sad the Jets are winning games, hey, have at it, man. It's your life. Do you, boo-boo. It's your life. I'm not. I'm going to enjoy every single – I'm going to root for wins. I'm going to analyze this team, see who's putting in their best foot forward. I want to see who's going to be a part of this process long-term, right? This is all the stuff you can be doing right now, watching these games. And I'm going to enjoy every time we beat a team. When we beat the Dolphins this freaking weekend, I'm going to be ecstatic. Sick and tired of these Dolphins fans talking about, oh, Tua's undefeated against the Jets. Sick and tired of it. I want to beat Tua. I want to win every game on the freaking schedule. If we lose them, okay, fine, cool. Our draft pick got better. Cool. But I'm going to root for wins. And I don't care about the lose on purpose crowd, the tank crowd. Y'all do y'all. Y'all be fans the way y'all want to be fans. Questionable, but y'all be fans the way y'all want to be fans. I'm going to root for my team to win. Miguel says, Jets been rebuilding since 1970. If you weren't with the Jets during the rebuild, don't be with the Jets during the rebuild. It's a process. It's a process. Ever since we got that first Super Bowl out the way, it's been a constant rebuild. We came close, though, right? The 2009, 2010, those back-to-back AFC Championship years, we thought we had it figured out. Then, boom, right back into the rebuild. It's a process, man. Sharp instincts. 1970 was not a rebuild. We lost to the 50-mile-per-hour winds, 13-6 to KC, and then KC won the Super Bowl. We should have, but that's also a very good point. I'm good with getting other positions in the first round. We have a lot of holes. So, yeah, listen. Listen. If Arvell Reese is available with our first pick, if it's the 5th or 6th or whatever the pick is, get him. I think he's the best player in this draft. I think Arvell Reese is one of those blue chippers, right? He'd be a massive help on that defense. And I know the thought of drafting defense where we need a lot of help on offense is just ridiculous, but Arvell Reese is my guy. Now, if you want to go with Tate or a wide receiver, I ain't mad at that either. But I think Arvell Reese, one of the top wide receivers, should be the pick if the quarterback you like is not available. I think there's an opportunity here for us to really build this roster up on top of the fact that we've got all that money. So when we do bring that quarterback in the building, we're setting him up for success. Like, there's a team around him that he doesn't need to carry, but he can just be a part of the process. Caleb Williams right now is not carrying the Chicago Bears. He's the 28th, 29th ranked QBR quarterback. Trevor Lawrence is not carrying the Jaguars right now. He's the 24th ranked freaking quarterback. Like, these guys are winning now, finally, right? But the team around them is really good. Like, man, Ben Johnson is as advertised. I mean, maybe it's a one-year wonder type of thing. We'll see. But that team is playing hard for them. Those guys have bought in. There's a roster around Caleb Williams, so that's why they're winning games. Not because of Caleb Williams. He ain't doing anything special. In fact, at least twice to get in the game, he'll do something you're just like, what the But they're winning games because the support around him is there. I want to see that for the next guy we bring into the building. The Saints game is going to be the toilet bowl. The loser getting a higher pick, I believe. We will win the Saints. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be at that game, Hayden Scout. I'm going to be at that game. And if you had asked me like last month, I'd have been like, yeah, we're going to lose that game. I think it's possible. We're going to win that game. I believe wholeheartedly the Saints are going to beat the Saints. I don't even think it's even a question anymore. Watching the Saints play and then watching how we've turned things around, it's complete 180 on both sides. The Saints are just bad. Like, I think Buffalo Jet fan posted this the other day, man, in terms of the point differential or point deficit. In order for you to get the first overall, but like the between us and the Titans and they're bad. Like the Titans are bad right now at football. We want to get the first overall, but it wasn't going to happen. There's just too much of a gap of where we're at in terms of a roster with talent on it, right? We've got some dogs on that roster. And then there's teams like the Titans, man. They're just horrible. They're horrible. Cam Ward is literally first overall pick. Cam Ward. They got one win on the season. One win. Cam Ward's looked good. He's made some good plays. He's made some boneheaded plays. He's looked good. But still, one win on the season. Cam Ward, first overall draft pick. Yeah. Tell me again how tanking is guaranteed that the team's going to get better by getting the first overall. Nah, bro. Miss me with that. It's just not a real thing. We could maybe grab Diego Pavia the second if we get a QB in the first. I want Dante Moore. So Dante Moore to me is interesting, right? I mean, again, he has all the physical tools. I just feel like it's not enough. Like him and Simpson are kind of in the same boat, right? You want to see more of them. Again, if AG loves any of these guys, again, I loved JJ McCarthy. 9 has made me look really stupid in regards to what I think of what a quarterback should look like for the NFL. So I am not going to argue about quarterbacks and who my coach and my GM chooses, right? I love Mendoza. I think Mendoza's a stud, but I question whether or not I know what I'm talking about because I really thought JJ McCarthy was going to be a stud at the next level. Instead, we got 9, and he's become this now generational meme that I think has kind of like supplanted the butt fumble. The one with him in the jersey with his face, he's looking all crazy. Like, that's like the new definition of ass across social media. So he's helped us out as Jets fans, and we no longer have to worry about the butt fumble being the butt of all jokes, compliments of 9. But, yeah, so if they love Dante Moore, I'm not opposed to it. I want the coaching staff to believe in who they bring in. And if it's Dante Moore, all right. If it's Ty Simpson, which I don't like Ty Simpson, all right. If it's Mendoza, I'll be excited because like I do like Mendoza. I'll be pumped. But I also don't think any of these quarterbacks are necessarily worth trading up for. I would rather you kind of sit where you're at, go with a guy that you feel comfortable with. Now, in next year's draft, if you want to go ahead and trade up, I'd feel better about those prospects. I just think that in terms of a ceiling in regards to what some of these guys bring to the table, I think low ceilings across the board. Well, lower ceilings across the board. I think there's some high floors, right? But there's some lower ceilings across the board in regards to individual possibility. But again, Tom Brady, nobody saw that coming either. So again, I thought JJ McCarthy was going to be a dog at the next level. That dude's a puppy, pissing on the porch. Mel Kiper thought Lamar Jackson was a third rounder and thought he would be better at wide receiver. Yeah, the professionals get it wrong all the time. The professionals get it wrong all the time. We should focus on the 27th draft and get a competent bridge quarterback. I want Archie or better. I have been screaming for Archie Manning from the beginning. Then in the beginning of the season, seeing him struggle at Texas, I was just like, the whole JJ thing, McCarthy, I was like, maybe I just don't know quarterbacks. And then now I'm seeing him I'm like, okay, last like 6 games, I'm like, oh, there's the Archie I thought we were going to be seeing. I would love to get Archie Manning in the building because at least then you're also gambling on pedigree, right? Like the whole, it's like the royal family of football quarterbacks, right? From grandfather down to Archie. His uncle's NFL quarterbacks. His dad was apparently the best of all of them, but because of his sickness, the spine thing, we never got to see it. So could Archie Manning be showing us what his dad would have been, who, by all indication, by Peyton, Eli, and their dad, said that he was the best of all of them in terms of playing the position. So I am kind of curious about that. But yeah, I would love Archie or better next year. If that's the route they want to go, I'm 100% on board with that. Otherwise, go hard for Dante Moore. 6 after Manning with CJ Carr, 2027. Giants won the Super Bowl with backup Jeff Hostetler, but Lawrence Taylor and Otis Anderson won the game. That's a good point. That's a good point. Lawrence Taylor, man, that dude was different. That dude was different. Which is why I want a guy like Arvell Reese, man. I want a guy like Arvell Reese. If we get Arvell Reese in this coming draft, I am going to be ecstatic. I know it's defense, but I'm going to be ecstatic. Like I think he brings a lot of value as well. Kel, hi, Gunny. You've been in the lab doing your research. I'm impressed. Listen, it's just it's funny because I was sitting I think it was on Sunday. It was on Monday actually. Monday, game was up, and I'm jumping on Twitter, and I'm seeing all this back and forth between Jets fans just mad that the Jets. I'm like, are we serious? The Jets won. And I'm looking at our draft position dropped a little bit, and I'm like, man, like people are really pissed. You're a fan. You're supposed to be a fan of this team, which means as a fan, you zealously just freaking. You're motivated to see this team succeed, but you're pissed off that they lost. I'm like, and in my head I said having the number 1 overall pick guarantees anything. I didn't know for a fact that it didn't, but I was in my head. I just said it. And I was like, I started with Caleb Williams, Trevor Lawrence. I started going down the immediate quarterbacks, and then I was like, you know what, man, forget this. So I just got on Google, man, started typing in the last, which is 2020 or since 2000, how many quarterbacks drafted first overall, and then I saw the names, and I'm like. None of these bums have won a Super Bowl for the team. And after I put it to that, so I went down a rabbit hole. And then once I went down that rabbit hole, I was like, man, F them picks. The first overall pick almost guarantees you won't win a Super Bowl if you grab a quarterback based off of the data. So, yeah, I definitely put in way more work into it than I probably should have. But glad you enjoyed. I appreciate that, Kel. Good looking out. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate that the work that I put in is appreciated. Sean, Tua Tagovailoa took Jalen Hurts' job in college. Who would you rather have? It's so hard to figure stuff out, in my opinion. I don't want to move up to the 2 number 1 spot and go. All right, Sean, I'm 100% with you. And that's a great analogy right there, too. Tua beat out Jalen Hurts. I'd rather have Jalen. Although Jalen has looked like trash the last several games, this season actually has not been good to him. I don't know if it's that Super Bowl slump or whatever, but he's a Super Bowl champion. He was an MVP. He balled out for his team to win. I would rather have Jalen Hurts. Perfect example. Tua beat him out. I don't know what I know anymore when it comes to the quarterback position, right? I think it's one of the most difficult positions to analyze. And what's crazy is these guys coming out now have more reps and more throws than any guys back, you know what I'm saying? Like back when we were growing up. Like you would think the transition would be easier or better. But a lot of it, man, is in regards to that work ethic. Like a guy like Kyler Murray, who came out and won Offensive Rookie of the Year, but this guy would rather be playing Call of Duty than actually studying. Like that's kind of just crazy to me. That you're getting paid millions to play a kid's game, one that is adored and loved by millions of people, right? And you'd rather be playing Call of Duty when you can do that in the offseason, you can do that on the weekends. But like that was distracting him from doing his job. That was crazy to me. So, and it goes to show you really won't know what you're getting from any of these guys. Once that contract hits, right? Once that hit of success, like who's got that Tom Brady dog in him, right? That's going to keep grinding no matter what. Tom Brady won 1 Super Bowl. You would have think he would have got lackadaisical. No, the dude went to work like a week later to prep for like we need one of those guys in the building. And you won't know until you have them in the building. So, yeah, man, I'm with you. I don't want to trade up for anybody in this draft class. I don't. I want to keep all of my picks, get guys who can fill holes for us in this draft. Next year's draft, if you want to trade up, I would understand. Because you got to get your quarterback by next year, right? You can't push it again. At that point, you're starting to burn clock. So, yeah, I'm with you, man. I'm all about keeping our picks and playing the board because we do have some holes in places that we need. We have things we need filled anyway. So it is what it is. Miguel, Jets fans should be hoping the Colts keep losing for a higher set. Thank you. I said the same thing. So I did a video actually after the Jets won, pumped up about it. I said, listen, if you're mad about it because you're part of that tank crowd, be mad. The Colts just lost. They went from having the 32nd overall pick to like 24 right now, and it can get as bad as 18 if they keep losing. Let's root for that. Let's all together join harmoniously and start rooting for the freaking Colts to lose games. Because honestly, it was just a matter of time before Daniel Jones became Daniel Jones again, right? I want to see them lose games now, only because it's going to benefit us as a franchise. So get that pick. I think 18 is the highest it can get. Heck yeah. Let's all root together. Let's all agree to just root against the coach to lose games and enjoy our team winning games. Let's just do that. All right. What was this one? My bad. I just wanted to bring up how I think, you know what I'm saying, J.J. McCarthy, a.k.a. 9, finally got us out of being the butt of all jokes. Because now, if you look at social media, he is the new face of just being ass. Not just the NFL, too. I saw stuff in politics about him in the jersey being like he's just now the face of being ass. So, my bad. No, you're right. I'm going to keep that as is. So, Jets Worldwide, what's up, brother, man? Nice to see you. And again, so I think it was you, Jets, on TikTok that broke down the chances of the Jets still making the playoffs. And honestly, when you look at it, I was like, it's not far-fetched. Like, some of these things could happen. So if y'all haven't followed Jets Worldwide, man, jump on his TikTok, jump on YouTube. They do some pretty awesome stuff. But yeah, he has the whole breakdown of like how the Jets can still make the playoffs. I hope I'm right about that. I'm pretty positive it was your channel. I saw it on Jets Worldwide. Just got shinier in here. If Tua was on 29 other teams, I'd almost feel bad for the kid, but he's in the AFC. Yeah, nah, you're right. You're right. Like, I won't lie to you. Like, when I've seen that kid go down a couple of times, man, I did feel bad momentarily, and then I remember, like, I'm sorry, man, you're rival opponent. Quit. I would just quit, and then you won't have to worry about this stuff. But nah, it is kind of concerning, man, in regards to the kind of damage he's done to himself. I don't know. Like, I don't know if how he's going to function later in life, because to have that many in a short time frame. But again, I digress. He's a grown man. He made his decision to go ahead and stay in and keep playing. So be it. Hayden Scott says, I'm old enough to remember how bad New England used to be. In the 3 years, they won 3 games, and Drew Bledsoe was no. But yeah, the Patriots used to be trash. A lot of these teams used to be trash, man. The Patriots grabbed Drew Bledsoe first overall. How'd that help them out? Nope. They need a 199th overall pick to go ahead and get them to the Super Bowl. So, again, like, it's a process. It sucks that it's taking this long. It really does. But it's a process, and it's an ongoing one that we've dealt with as Jets fans. And hopefully one day the pain goes away. And I guess that's all we can really root for, right? Like, hopefully the pain goes away and we finally get the rebuild right. I'm hoping AG succeeds. I'm hoping Muji succeeds, that these guys are with us for the next 15, 20 years, and they bring in that new era of Jets football that we've been dying to go ahead and see in the building. I think we deserve it as a fan base. The loyal. I'm going to a Saints game in a couple of weeks to watch Saints versus Jets. A 2 and whatever team and a 3-1 team. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the kind of the fan base that the Jets have, you know what I'm saying, in their corner. And I think we're overdue. We've been punished long enough. I mean, for crying out loud, just give us something to go ahead and be proudful of as an organization. And I'm really hoping, man, that AG is that guy, Muji is that guy, and their direction and vision for this organization goes in the way of us winning games and being a competitive organization. I would love a Super Bowl. I'm always going to pray for the Super Bowl, but at the very least, man, make us competitive. Don't embarrass us. I'm sick and tired of being one of the bottom feeders of the NFL. All right, y'all. That's the hangout. We've gone over today, man. But I missed y'all from last week. Wanted to go ahead and make sure I chopped it up and looked at any questions that y'all might have. This was a good one, man. But there you go. For all the Jets fans who are concerned about the first overall pick, look, man, the data actually says you don't want the first overall pick. Don't want it. It doesn't help you. It might actually cost you a Super Bowl if we get it. So, with that said, that wrap up today's intel and breakdown. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to share the sit rep and drop your thoughts. Should teams really tank for the #1 pick, or is winning games the real path to building a champion? I want to know what you think about it. Let me know in the comments. Hey, I'm Gunny Gumby. This has been the Hangar Hangout. I appreciate you guys. Y'all have a good night, and then I'll see you guys next week.
I can do it all, I will never fall. It's the Renaissance, you know that I got the mother sauce, man. You know I'm the boss, I know what it costs. Have you ever lost? I'm so versatile, yeah, I'm a Renaissance, man. I can do it all, I will never fall. It's the Renaissance, you know that I got the mother sauce, man. You know I'm the boss, I know what it costs. Have you ever lost? I'm so versatile, yeah, I'm a Renaissance, man.